My dear students, I've stood before you to teach one more chapter. Today's lesson is quite interesting. It is about do and its forms, do and its forms. It's very essential for all the English learners to have a certain command of do forms, get forms, and have forms also. We have done unit 3, unit 2 and unit 1 also. In unit 1, 2, 3. In all the 3 units, you have 5 chapters in each unit. And similarly, you have 5 chapters in this unit 4 also. In this unit 4, we are going to learn about do and its forms. If you learn a lot about do, does, did, and their use, you can do magic with the language. Any learner of English, for the sake, if he is proficient, if he is master in using do and its forms, have and its forms, and get and its forms, he'll be able to speak very naturally. He will learn many expressions, which makes his ideas very clear. By learning all these, he can get his ideas across to the people. That means he can make them understood by others. Right. In this unit 4, I'm going to teach you about the do and its forms, First, let's learn what are do forms, Look at this table. Do, it's a base form. It's present tense, And its past tense is did. It's a second form, past tense, It's about conjugation, do, did, done, I'm speaking about. And the done, it's the third form, which you can grammatically term it as past participle. It is also past tense. I already told you in my previous lessons that the meaning of second form and third form is same. Though it has a different name, The third form has a different form, different name. What is it? Past participle. Though we call this second form past tense and third form as past participle, they mean the same. They refer to past time only, make it a point. Okay? For your convenience. And next, do plus ing form. Extended form, Anyway, go plus ing, going, write plus ing, writing, come plus ing, coming, sing plus ing, singing, teach plus ing, teaching, cook plus ing, cooking, like that. Right? Like that. Do plus ing, doing. What is doing? It is present participle, its name. It has no tense at all, remember. Doing, playing, reading, writing. We call it present participle, that's all. It bears no tense at all. Whether it is used in present tense or past tense or future tense is decided by the helping verb that comes before it. Am I clear? What is this does then? You must have used in many times in your conversation. K.S. Chitra sings very, very melodiously. Miss BDP teaches very beautifully. Kamal Hassan acts very well. Acts. We add S to the form, When the subject is third person singular number, we generally, our English language demands, English grammar demands us to use S or es. That can be for your convenience sake, you can say created form, you can call it. You don't find do, did, done, 3 forms, Then does how? Does is a combination of do and is. It becomes does. Does is also present tense, make it a point. How many forms are there? Do, did, done, doing, and does. How many forms? 5 forms. Of all the 5 forms, if you observe carefully, the first form, that is do, is present tense, make it a point. And the last 5th one, does, which is a combination of, which is a blend of, which is a mixture of perhaps, do plus is, is created form. And some of you must have been calling it as SRES form. Most of the teachers must have addressed it as SRES form. But here, created form. There is no such form as does. You have created. So, created form you can call it. Am I clear of this? So, whenever you have to use do in present tense, make it a point that there are 2 forms for you. One is do, the base form. The other is created form. This is the case with all the verbs, remember. Go, goes. Come, comes. Write, writes. Right? Sing, sings. Cook, cooks. Teach, teaches. Paint, paints, Then what is the difference, The subjects differ. The subjects differ, With the first person singular I, plural we, and second person singular you, and its plural you, and third person plural they. With all these we use base form, whatever be the verb, not only do, come, eat, drink, write, sit, like that. And any plural subject like friends do, teachers do, swimmers do, actors do, like that. Suppose the subject is third person singular like he, she, it, Mohan, Razu, Rajita, and Manos. Manos does graphic work very beautifully. Manos helps me in making these audios and videos possible. Otherwise, Manos creates wonderful things with the audios. It does a good job. In all these sentences, what is the subject? Manos. Is it singular or plural? Manos is only one, singular. So in such case, we use SRES form. Okay, does goes with third person singular numbers, he, she, it, or for that sake, any singular name, as I told you. Am I clear? Now, let's learn the uses of do. You get perhaps mesmerized. You get a kind of elevation by learning these uses of do and does. Many things, Let's see how they are. Well, let's learn the uses of do and its forms. Do, does, did, and remaining things. Before I begin, I want all my listeners, all my learners of English, to keep one thing in mind. Some verbs can be used as main as well as helping verbs. Make it a point. Helping verbs has a different name also. Auxiliary verbs you can call it. To auxiliary means to help. Technical name, grammatical name is auxiliary verb, but the more routine and known and familiar name is naturally this helping verb. But do can be used as a principal verb, that is main verb, as a helping verb also. Take this, understand? Main verb. I do my duty. I do my duty. Here, what is the verb? Do only. There is no other verb in the sentence. When you find do alone, it becomes a main verb. Remember. You catch the point. Next, She does her duty. She does her duty. Does. What are the do forms here? Do and does, Both are in present tense, I told you, Just now I have taught you the 5 forms: do, did, done, doing, and does also. The subject here is she, so I have chosen does here. I do my duty and she does her duty. And take a glance how do and does can be used as helping verbs. Helping verb. I do not like sweets. I do not like sweets. Do is there, remember. Do you find do alone? Or is there any verb in the sentence? Yes, you're right. It's there. What is it? Like. What is this do doing? This do is helping like to make negative sentences, Without do, it's not possible. I not like sweets. I like not sweets. You cannot say no. So here, if you're asked to tell the verb in this sentence, what's the verb in this sentence? You should say do and likes are both. What is do? Do is helping the main verb like to form negative sentences there. The second one, she does not read books. What's the verb? Does and read both. Does is helping the main verb read here to form negative sentences. Similarly, in the questions, for example, do you like sweets? Do you like sweets? An interrogative sentence ends with a question mark, interrogative mark, you can call it. What is the verb here? Do. What is another verb? Like. What does this do? Verb only. It is helping verb. Why? It is helping like, which is a main verb, to form. To form what? An interrogative sentence or a question for their sake. A question. I hope I am clear? Right. Same is the case with does also. Does she read? Does she read books? Well, does is helping verb and read is main verb. Main verb. Main verb. Again same. Does is helping read, which is a main verb, to form interrogative sentence. So, with the help of do and does, we can make negatives and interrogatives. Now tell me from this short explanation, what do you understand? This do and does and sometimes did also can be used as main verbs as well as helping verbs. Well, here you might ask me a question. Sir, how do I know do is main verb or do as helping verb? How do I know? Any clue is there? Very simple. Very simple. Look at this. I do my duty. In this entire sentence, what is verb? Do only. Does do have any word, any verb in the sentence? Or otherwise, is there any verb in the same sentence? Either before do or after do? No. When do, does, did are found alone without any verb, they become main verbs. Do, does, main verbs here. But here, when I ask you what's the verb, do and like, you should say. Does and read, you should say. When, so this means do has followed like main verb and does has followed the main verb read. Now tell me, is this not a helping verb? Here, is this not a helping verb? Like this, make it a point. In the questions, do, like, does, right? Make it a point that do, does, did can be used as helping verb, main verbs. Now, I'm going to teach you certain rules which will help you use do, does, did very brilliantly. This is the wonderful aspect of this teaching, especially do and does, did forms to you, so that you can use them very beautifully, very wonderfully in your sentences. Your expression would be better. Let's learn the uses of do, does, and did. It may be used here in the sentences which I'm going to give you examples. They may be as helping verbs or they may be as main verbs. See the first one. To talk about the success or the progress, you can use do. For example, my teacher, Miss BDP, who is in Canada now, asks me, it's a dialogue between my teacher and myself. And his dialogue, Chandra, how is your English channel doing? I reply like this. It's doing well, sir. How is your channel, English channel, doing? Means how is it going? How is it progressing? How is it functioning otherwise? Do here has the sense of functioning or progressing or developing day by day. It's doing well, sir. Means it's progressing well, slowly. Is it not beautiful? Next one. One more expression. Suppose I ask Chandra, it's a dialogue between Chandra and Surendra. Surendra, how is your daughter, Saugandhi, doing her studies? What's the meaning of this sentence? I want to know how Saugandhi, my nephew's daughter, is performing at her studies. To this, Surendra perhaps say, well, Channa, well, Mamaya, or otherwise, she is doing very brilliantly. That means she is studying well. Instead of studying, you can say like this. Is it not wonderful? One more thing. Suppose I want to ask my friend, it's a conversation between Prasad and myself. How are you doing? I'm asking Chandra and Prasad. How are you doing, Prasad? Means, what does it mean? How are you progressing? How are you? How are you doing well? To this, Prasad would say perhaps, I am doing very well. I am progressing. Right? These are the general meanings of this. And next, informal greetings, when you meet people on different occasions, in order to start the conversation, you can say, how do you do? How do you do? To this, the reply would be naturally, how do you do? It's just a beginning. It's ice breaking, we call it, breaking the ice, Suppose you happen to meet, good morning, and the rest of the things go on. Like this, if someone asks you, how do you do? They don't expect you to say, I'm quite okay, I'm safe. They don't give the reply. It's a casual way of opening the sentences whenever you meet the people. The answer would be, how do you do only? But it is outdated now. Most people don't say hello, hi, they say nowadays. Don't use how do you do generally. You can ask me here, sir, then why did you teach me, sir? Why did you teach this point to us when it is not in the vogue? Vogue means practice. I've taught because It's sometimes used by the native speakers, especially British, Suppose you happen to read English novels, you find the expression, how do you do? I want to explain that point also. When you are confronted such expression, you should not be confused or baffled, right? Don't give the answer, I am safe, I am okay, I am fine. When someone asks you, how do you do? When someone asks you, how do you do? The answer would be, again, how do you do? No one is expected to give the answer, right? Next, suppose your sister delivered a female baby. The doctor has come out of the labor room and you have asked him very anxiously, the conversation between you and your doctor. How are the doctor? That means you want to know, but you're very eager, anxious to know how your sister and the baby are. To this, the doctor might say, well, they're doing very well. Otherwise, both your sister and the baby are doing very well. Progressing. Or it's a kind of consideration for you. They're progressing well, they're in the normal condition, they are quite okay. Instead of quite okay, they're normal, casual. These expressions would make you a wonderful speaker also. Well, next. Do can be used a lot with the nouns to talk about as cleaning, washing, and then arranging the things also. How? For example, Ramalakshmi does the dishes. Ramalakshmi does the dishes. This I would like to write on the blackboard because it is some tricky. Try to understand the meaning of it. Ramalakshmi does dishes. Night itself. What's the meaning of does here? Washes. At night you take dinner. She has to serve dinner to your family. And she wants to take up the washing up of the dishes night itself. That's the meaning. Ramalakshmi does dishes night itself. That means she cleans all the utensils, dishes, night itself, and then goes to bed. Is it not a wonderful expression? You can have it. And see, amazing uses of do and does if you practice them. I have my niece, my sister's daughter, Cipriana. She has a luxuriant hair, Cipriya does her hair very stylishly, Cipriya does her hair very stylishly, What does it mean here? She arranges, she combs her hair very beautifully, in a stylish way, in a more fashionable way, perhaps, Next. Nowadays, we don't iron our dresses, We don't find time even. But in certain places, people do have iron boxes with them. And you can express that also very well. Well, I do a lot of ironing. I do a lot of ironing on weekends. You understand? What do you do here? You iron your clothes, Like this, you can use Next. do some do some acting or a performance as an actor, and to perform some activity also you can talk about do and does. Ms. BDP, Ms. Durga Prasad, has done some wonderful acting. Ms. BDP has done wonderful acting. Some wonderful acting, you can say. What does this sentence mean? The sentence simply means Mr. Durga Prasad has performed or acted, otherwise acted in certain plays and dramas. Right? And one more example I would like to tell you. My friend Mr. K.H.N. Prasad did a lot of acting before he was married. Right? It means he acted in many plays or dramas. And my wife, Ramalakshmi, does a lot of writing. Of course, you can say my wife Ramalakshmi writes novels, short stories, poems, articles, you can say. But is it not nicer to express like this? My wife Ramalakshmi does a lot of writing. That means she is a writer. She writes different genres. Instead of saying my wife writes many short stories, you can use this expression, my wife. For that sake, anyone. Am I clear? Next. To know about the job, the profession of somebody's, or to know what they are doing for their livelihood, we can use do in this context. For example, what do you do, Manoj? I ask him. He might give the answer, well, I shoot films. Is a small bit of director. That's his livelihood. If you ask me, what do you do for your livelihood, sir? I say, I teach lessons. I teach English. That's my livelihood. Some people do painting. Some people do ironing. Some people do carpentering. Some other things like that. Do here means this. What did she do, or what did he do for his life, for his living in the past? At the time, you can say she worked as a teacher, or she did painting. That means she was a painter. Am I clear? Is it not wonderful? Try to make conversations with your friends using all these, And some more uses, we are coming to an end. Study also, in order to talk about studies. And suppose I say, what are you doing, Manoj? I ask him, what are you doing, Manoj, nowadays? Well, I am doing acting, suppose he says. I am doing acting. It doesn't mean he's acting. Has taken up acting as a course. As academics, he reads. Suppose you ask some Sri Priyano, what are you doing, Sri Priyano? Amaya, I'm doing event management. That's her livelihood. What do you do? What's your job? What's your profession? What do you do? All these refer to when you want to know what someone is doing for their livelihood. Okay, next. To talk about certain habits. The habits may be bad as well as good. Suppose I say, my brother does a lot of smoking. My brother does a lot of smoking means, what does it mean? What does it mean actually? What's the meaning of this sentence? He is a heavy smoker. He's in the habit of smoking a lot. And many students, I don't say most of the students, many students do drugging, D-R-U-G-G, drugging means alcohol, heroin, and cocaine for their sake. They do it, bad vices. And the last use of do, which is wonderful, which is highly useful in our day-to-day life. So far I have mentioned 9 uses of do. And the last one, the 10th one, I have come. And here, it's a very useful one for you. Suppose someone has got you a dress from America. They ask you, how is the dress? Here you can talk about these, or otherwise these coats won't do for me. Won't means will plus not, won't, I told you. These coats, suppose your cousin has brought from America 5 to 10 coats of different sorts, Well, after wearing them, we have tried all. But all these coats won't do me. If you say they do not fit you to your body, either they are too much loose or too much tighten. There you can say won't do. Like one more expression. The shirt doesn't do for me. You can say means it is fitting. It is not in exact fitting, should I say. Again, either loose or fit. Well, have you seen, my dear learners, how many wonderful uses are there for do, does, and did? Definitely, if you practice all the uses and make sentences of your own and try using them with your friends, members of the family, or anyone who knows English very well, your English would be definitely transformed into an amazing one. People like you. You are considered to be a good speaker. Thank you very much. Let's have some more uses, something about many amazing facts about do and does, did tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you very much. Bye.